Good morning, it's Dave at ATI Watch Reviews. Please hit that like button and please smash that subscribe button for more awesome watch content. Little wristwatch check. I've got my WM Watches 057 rotating world timer with a gorgeous 5-link bracelet with butterfly clasp. This has some really interesting specs. There's going to be a full review up shortly. It's a very unusual watch, but I'm liking it. Today's video is a review of a little unisex, I would call it unisex watch, from Addiesdive, the Chinese homage brand. Now, this, just a little overview, I can't actually put this on my wrist, sadly, because it is just too small. I would have to get them to send me a lot more links, basically, at least 2 more links. But my girlfriend can put it on her wrist, and I'm going to show it you on her wrist later in the video. She's been wearing it probably for the past month or so. She took it away on holiday, so there is some dinks and chips and scratches in the bracelet, sadly. But it is a really interesting watch, and it's principally very interesting because of 2 reasons. As you can see, there is a sweeping seconds hand. It's got a VK31 Meca-quartz movement inside of it. And this is the AD 2030. It's a 36mm case by about 46mm, 47mm lug to lug, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Double domed mineral crystal. It is only a mineral crystal. Fully solid stainless steel bracelet, brushed 3-link. Ignore the scratches because we have been wearing it significantly. A nice milled clasp with push buttons, decent swing arms, a whopping 5 micro adjusts, not bad at all. A screw down case back with some engravings, and a beautiful, absolutely beautiful, it's difficult to tell the colour actually what you class it as, but it's kind of a light blue colour. It is 100 metre water resist. As you can see there, they're using the Sea Hunter terminology, bizarrely, because this is not obviously a dive watch really, or is it? I mean, to me it looks like a dress watch, and it gives that feeling because there's no loom. Everything's very delicate with a heavily polished bezel. Nice polishing there on the bezel, with a screw down signed crown. And as I've stated, this is the VK31 Meca-quartz movement. And what that's doing is, the main timekeeping function of the watch is done under a quartz battery system with a quartz oscillator, but the seconds hand is on a kind of mechanical style, or a mechanical hybrid system. And what's actually happening, it's not I don't think it really is mechanical. It is kind of like quartz, but it's hitting it 4 times per second, if you can see that. Yeah, it's hitting about 4 times per second, which gives the illusion of a true mechanical system when it isn't. And one benefit of this is, you might think, well, why does that matter? Well, one thing, obviously it looks nicer. I prefer a sweeping seconds hand, absolutely, to a quartz. But there is also a benefit that many big watch brands, I'm talking about the big ones, okay, that produce watches below 500 quid, a lot of them completely fail to get the seconds hand on quartz watches to align properly with the indices when it's on a quartz just 1 tick per second. If you use a Meca-quartz like this, you get around it by, you know, it giving the illusion that it's constantly sweeping so it doesn't have to hit anything. So I really like Meca-quartz movements because you get the benefits of the accuracy of 10 to 15 seconds a month instead of 30 seconds a day on some automatics that are that inaccurate, which I hate. You get the benefits of it looking like an automatic, but with the accuracy of a quartz, which is why I'm a huge fan of these watches, these movements. So let's start off with sizing. And the sizing is unisex in the sense that it is a 36mm watch. Obviously, it's too small for me. I will never wear a 36 watch, or extremely rarely, unless I got into buying like vintage watches in the future, which I may do. So it's going to fit anyone's wrist down to even 6 inches. It'll fit a lady's wrist. Absolutely it will. It fits my girlfriend's wrist. My girlfriend has tiny wrists. It'll fit them, no problem. So I'm going to say that even if you've got a big wrist like me, like 7.5 inch, if you accept having the watch face look quite small on the wrist, then you can wear it no problem. But if you look at it there, it's not that small. You know, it is a lot smaller than the world timer. Bezel diameter is just less than 36mm, so it's a 35.9mm or 36mm. Lug to lug is only 45.3, so it's less than 46. And the end link to end link is only 45.3 because, again, it's got the female end links. And a very slender 10.9mm on the thickness to the top of that double dome. So sizing is on the small side. Definitely won't be for everyone. If you can pull off a smaller size and you're happy with that, then absolutely go for it. The dial is excellent. There is a bit of a juxtaposition here in the fact that you've got this interesting kind of wave pattern, very subtle texture. Not quite sure how they've made that. If you can see that there. On the dial there is clearly some type of like texture on the back. A very nice look, very subtle look. But that does juxtapose the much more sporty, much less serious Addiesdive logo, which it's obviously going to be, it's not going to be for everyone, but it doesn't really bother me, in total honesty. The writing there with 100 meters, it's slightly too small for me, and I don't like how they've made it all one word, and I don't like the branding of it, to be completely honest with you. I don't get why they would call it such a watch when it's not really a dive watch. But nonetheless, I can look past it because of the excellent overall presentation of the watch. Anyway, the dial is beautiful, absolutely is. The lovely silver sword-like hands. With the little stainless steel battens. They look like little bullions. It is a very nice look, there is no question about it. The crystal is only a mineral crystal, but it is heavily domed. Look at the dome on that. It is going to be the first thing to bang into if you knock it on a door or something, because it is such a massive dome, probably 3mm. Reflections are there, but they're not overpowering. You can tell the time pretty easily. The bezel is obviously fixed. It's a very simple but effective stainless steel, heavily polished bezel. The polished bezel adds to the dressiness of the watch. It absolutely does. If they put patterns on it, it makes it more sporty, but it wouldn't show the scratches as much. Obviously, you're going to scratch this thing. One thing I'll say is because the dome is so high on the crystal, it'll probably hit the crystal before the bezel. The case design is all curved, very nicely curved there, and it's all polished as well. Everything's rounded off, there's no sharp edges. Even the corner there is not sharp. So nothing's going to dig into your wrist. She has put a scratch on that, sadly. Let's try the crown. Smooth. Yeah, nice smooth action there. Not feeling much grittiness. Moving on to the case back, we have a standard screw down, the in-your-face Addiesdive logo with the double guns and arrows and the stars with Addiesdive, all stainless steel. Would have preferred an exhibition window, but that would have probably reduced its dressiness feel. The bracelet is very good. Stainless steel, fully solid, very comfortable, I'm told. It feels very comfortable. Everything feels rounded off, nothing's feeling like it would dig in. It is just push pins on the bracelet links, but you do get some arrows, as you can see there. A nice clasp, very nice mechanism, simple but effective. It is polished good, with a polished chamfer on the edges and a brushed body. All looking pretty good. Mechanism feels okay. Little bit of resistance on the disengagement, but nothing bad really. No, there's no dive extension. They kept it very simple, but they have given you 5 micro adjusts, which is more than adequate on this type of watch. I was expecting 3. Links are very easy to take out. I took them out to resize it. I have took some links out, but I still couldn't fit it on my wrist. My wrist is obviously much too big for this watch. I would have to order a couple of links, which I may do, so I can wear it, but obviously I won't be wearing it for any significant time because I don't like small watches. There's no loom shot because this watch does not have loom, keeping it with its dressy feel, which again contrasts with the bizarre reason why they would call it a dive watch, because it's not. It's a dress watch, basically. It is a dress watch, essentially. So if you can look past that, I think the movement itself is fantastic. The accuracy and the sweeping automatic style is brilliant. It does elevate it significantly. If this were just a quartz watch, I probably wouldn't be as interested in it. So overall, how do I rate this thing? I think what they need to do is they need to sort their branding out on some of these more dressier watches and not consider it a dive watch and put it onto a dress style. That would be better. The branding I'm talking about. Because there is a big contrast between the way the watch looks on initial impressions and deeper looking into it, you know, the branding and stuff. You would think it's a dive watch. But nonetheless, it is a really nice watch. Even if you can look past that contrast, then the watch itself is very nice. You know, if you can look past those small issues, you know, the branding contrast with the overall look of the watch being a dress watch essentially, then the watch is ultimately a gem of a watch. I don't know that many watches that use Meca-quartzes other than on the Chinese watch brands. It's not a lot that are using them, you know, in the affordable category. So ultimately, the watch on the movement alone, it's worth the price, and the price is well below 50 quid. I think even with VAT in England, it is below 50 quid, and for that, I honestly think it's a steal.